Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by LaValle Building Supply. I'm Mike Pizzone, joined by Jeremy Stout up in the booth. And Jeremy, we were just talking before the break between the differences of Tommy Hogan, last year's quarterback, and McNamara for Newport now. And McNamara, you know, maybe isn't doing the runs per se that Hogan was doing last year, but boy, can he throw a nice pass, as we've seen already a few times today, with two beautiful completions to Stephen Nix. I mean, just throws a tight spiral, and boy, is he accurate.
Yeah, Dylan McNamara, the junior, has kind of taken that back seat role to Wade and Lawrence, as you said, in number of touches per game. But when he needs to do something and he needs to dial it up, he can get some passes out there. You can see he moves his feet very well. He can get out of the pocket, make the long throws, make the short throws, and we've even seen him make a couple of nice runs today.
For the record, it could have been 3 touchdown passes, as we talked about earlier with that call that Nix was out of bounds with a beautiful what could have been a touchdown pass. But Newport now facing a 3rd down and 7 as McNamara takes the snap, and he's going to hold on to this one. He must have heard us saying he wasn't much of a running threat, because he kept that one. And a nice run on 3rd down. He's going to have enough for a 1st down and more. So maybe he's tapping into our headsets. Heard that we're calling Hogan a little bit of a better runner, and he's showed us up a little bit with that 1st down carry.
And also, you got to wonder if Coach McElravy is saying, all right, we got to change it up here. The end of the game, we got this in hand. We don't want any injuries. Heaven forbid Wade or Lawrence, you know, is something's happening.
Well, we also can see right in front of us down here, we have a couple Campbell coaches. So there's a lot of people actually scouting this game as well. So I'm sure Coach McElravy is aware of that and wants to switch this up, knowing that, you know, there's a lot of people here taking notes on what Newport's doing. As C.J. Lawrence with the carry, he's got 2 bow defenders on his back, but continues to move his legs. So C.J. Lawrence showing his power with a 9-yard gain on 1st down.
The winner of this game, being if Newport can hold on, will face the winner of the Interlakes, Moultonboro, and Winnisquam game?
I believe that is correct.
That's going on as we speak.
Okay, so we talk about Campbell. Maybe they're scouting for next year, but
oh, no, you wonder if they are scouting on behalf of one of them, because they're in the same division, so it's kind of a north-south division. Yeah, it's all Division 3, and you're all in for it, but you wonder if that is a case where, hey, let's send somebody. You know, you don't know what type of relationships these teams have with the other coaches, and they might have said, hey, you mind scouting it?
Yep, very good point.
That's what I always thought you were going with, so that's what.
All right, throwing me a bone there. I appreciate that. So the officials are measuring this one out to see if Lawrence had enough for the 1st down there. But while we're there figuring that out, Jeremy, I just want your opinion on, you know, a few years ago, they'd actually have the championships at the home of the higher seed. I remember when Newport beat Franklin a few years ago. That game was over in Franklin. What are your thoughts on the neutral site being able to play these championship games at UNH on a neutral field? No one has that home field advantage. Is that something you like, that change?
I think that's a nice change. And, you know, yeah, it does take a little bit of the excitement out of hosting a big game. But for all the years I remember, they've always had baseball playoff games at neutral sites. They've had basketball playoff games in this division or Newport's division for previous years. When I was here, they would always go up to Plymouth and have plenty of games up there.
So Lawrence with the carry, he finds the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the game, and that's going to be his 5th touchdown of the postseason. So the Tigers now lead this one 46-7 with 10:35 remaining in the contest. So that pending the extra point attempt here. And it's going to be number 58, Mariah Chase, on the field to attempt the point after for the Tigers. Chase is the starting goaltender for the Newport girls soccer team. Obviously, their season is over at this point, but she's got quite a leg as that kick is up and good. So Mariah Chase gets herself in the box score and makes this one a 47-7 advantage for the Tigers with 10:35 remaining in the contest. So stay tuned after the break for more from your YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week, brought to you by LaValle Building Supply, and it's the Tigers once again kicking it off after their 7th touchdown of the game. They now lead this one 47-7. So only a matter of time now for the Tigers with 10 minutes remaining in the contest, and it should be noted that now with the advantage of greater than 35 points, it will be running time until Bow can cut it back into within 35. So running time for the foreseeable future.
As we talked about at the beginning of the game, both these teams high scoring. They both score about 39 points a game. Newport 40 points a game. There was 4 common opponents, and all games that were common with Bow and Newport. Newport had the upper hand in the scoring category, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this big of a deficit. I know there was a lot of chatter that, it could get out of hand in the second half, and this Newport team is, I think, better than the Bow team, but I don't know if anyone expected this.
So Harkin completed that pass to number 14, Nate Alford, but a good tandem tackle there by C.J. Lawrence was there in the tackle, and Tyler Sharon on the tackle. So a good job limiting that pass play to just a gain of 1. So the Falcons facing a 2nd down and 9. And I'm sure, Jeremy, no complaint from these Newport fans and these chilly, windy conditions with the running time.
Yeah, they braved the conditions and are out here supporting their team. And we'll see what type of contingency goes down to UNH next week for the championship game, as we were talking about before the break, at the neutral site. And, they used to always be, from what I remember, for the other sports. So I don't know what kind of went into that factor of saying, hey, we'll have a home field advantage for football, but we won't for basketball, because as far back as I can remember, they were always up at Plymouth. Newport had some success in Final Fours up there, and they would always go, the Final Four would be at Plymouth.
Yep. I think the biggest issue with that is just given the time of these seasons. I mean, obviously, UNH football is in the middle of the season. Your Castleton State colleges, your schools like that are also in the middle of their football season, whereas in those other sports, maybe that's not so much the case. But you did mention those other sports, and even in the basketballs, the baseballs, the soccers, even the semifinals at that point are at neutral sites. So still kind of interesting that you can host a semifinal game, but you'll get no complaints out of Newport, and a good crowd here today, as we mentioned, despite these cold conditions.
There was a lot of talk of that in our area last week when it was the Vermont Championships, where Rutland actually made it to the championship, but they had been the predetermined host of the championships, because, as you mentioned, Castleton had a game and they just want to forego any scheduling conflicts, so they just say, this is what we're going to do. And Rutland said, hey, we're going to bid for this, we're going to host it, and they ended up going to the championship and then winning. Yeah,
very good point. So again, no complaints. It's nice for us to be able to see, one of our local schools here hosting games like this, and it's just a big, exciting time for the community to be able to host a semifinal game and get all these people out here and rally around the local high school. So the Falcons are going to punt this one away with a 4th down and 11, and inside 8 minutes to go in the contest. Not the best punt for the Falcons, but a good Falcons roll, and that's going to set the Tigers up with the 1st down from the 41-yard line. So we'll take a quick break from our YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back to the YCN Game of the Week. I'm Mike Pizzone, joined by Jeremy Stout. And Jeremy, I can see that smile on your face growing as a proud Newport alum. Your team is only just under 7 minutes away from getting another trip to UNH.
Yes, a nice victory coming up for the Tigers here, and trying to go back, as we mentioned, back-to-back to the championship game, this time hoping for better results. They had gone through a period there where they were struggling for a number of years, but they're back on top of this division, the newly reassigned divisions. For many years there had been, I remember when I was in school, I think there were 6 divisions in New Hampshire.
Yep.
And we would bounce around from 3 all the way down to 6 at one point, and then they realized across all of the schools in New Hampshire, 3 divisions in each area.
And I think that's a great point. I mean, yeah, the last time Newport can call itself a champion, they won, I believe it was 2011. I'm not exactly sure on the year, but that was a Division 6 championship against Franklin. And, some people were out there criticizing. I mean, you're going to give out 6 championships in a small state the size of New Hampshire? So it does make sense to me to see it consolidated to these 3 divisions. And, while some people were worried that maybe these smaller Division 6 teams wouldn't be as competitive in a 3-division state, well, Newport's proven that not so much of a worry right now, with a potential 2nd straight trip to the championship game. So the handoff goes to Dow, and Dow steamrolls right up the middle, near midfield, or right on midfield, and that's going to set up a 2nd down and 1. So everyone getting in on the action now for the Tigers, as you see some of those starting players are now on the sideline. CJ Lawrence is now on the sideline.
Number 19, Kyle Rossiter, is now in the game. He started this drive as the quarterback. He's a sophomore here, getting some snaps.
Yep, so Coach McElreevy emptying his bench here, as you see Wade on the sideline as well, McNamara on the sideline, as you just mentioned. Nix is on the sideline. So approaching 5 minutes to go in the game, and Newport now giving those younger kids some pivotal, big-time playoff experience. So that's got to be helpful for the future of this Tigers program as well.
Yeah, this is obviously big with Lawrence and Wade, both seniors. They'll be, leaving next year. McNamara will have 1 more year, and Nix also is a senior. So you're having, 3 big players graduating. You need to get these guys involved, need to get some action, and need to get on the field, and that's the biggest thing to repeating, because they're back here in the championship game for the 2nd straight year, but this time with a different quarterback, because McNamara was able to get some reps last year, and he has that confidence and has a little bit of experience.
And not just getting reps, they're moving the chains as well. I mean, Sharon didn't get much on that run, gain of about 1 on 1st down, but still a couple 1st downs on this possession already for these backups. So the future looks bright for Coach McElreevy and these Tigers. Just a reminder to watch YCN News every weekday at 7 and 10 p.m. YCN News is a digest of all things local, news, sports, events, and public affairs. TV News is back in the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region on YCN, your local view. So inside 4 minutes to go here in the contest, Rossiter hands it off to Sharon. Sharon with a nice run on 2nd down. It's going to make it a doable 3rd down situation for the Tigers. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 4, it looks like. So a good job by these younger players, like you mentioned.
So on this type of play here, you just kind of keep the ball on the ground. If you do it, come up with a 4th down, you might just go for it anyway, or you punt it to pin them deep. But the way Newport continues to move this ball, that might not even be a question that McElreevy has to answer.
Rossiter hands it off to Dow. Dow keeping his feet going, and that's going to be enough for a Newport 1st down. So Jake Dow doing a good job. Hasn't had too many snaps today, but making most of the snaps he's getting now. And the Tigers keeping the clock going, keeping the chains moving. And we are now inside 3 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter of the Division III NHIAA Championship between Newport and Bow. Ball marked on the 34-yard line. Rossiter takes a snap, pitches it off to Sharon. Sharon tries to cut back in the middle. Got a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play.
You wonder if Coach McElreevy will keep having the ball handed off from Rossiter, or if they'll say, hey, clock's not going to stop even on an incomplete pass. So do we just try and put something out there, or maybe throw a screen pass or something out in the flat just to get him to throw the ball?
Yep. I don't picture McElreevy being the overzealous type. I'm sure he's happy with the score and not looking to show
right,
up.
Doesn't want to run up the score.
But I certainly see your point to give him the experience of throwing the ball in these such cold conditions. But the ball goes to Dow on that handoff, and Dow met relatively quickly. Looks like a gain of maybe 3 on the play. So that's going to set up a 3rd down and 1, it looks like. And we are now inside 2 minutes, Jeremy, so you know what time it is. It's time for our H.R. Clough Kearsarge Heating Oil Turning Up the Heat play of the game. And we have 3 plays in mind, per se, coming from one player. Stefan Nix, excuse me, 3 touchdowns. And you want to talk about those plays a little bit?
Well, 3 touchdowns for Nix after we finish this play here. The first one from Nix was the 51-yard touchdown pass from McNamara to Nix, dropping a beautiful pass right over his shoulder and completing that one for the first passing touchdown of the day from McNamara to Nix. And then there was another 34-yard touchdown pass from McNamara to Nix, and the 2-point conversion was good on that one. And finally, the 45-yard touchdown run from Nix.
And you mentioned 51-yard perfectly placed pass. That 34-yard 34-yard one that came after, I can't even emphasize how more perfectly placed that pass was. So Stefan Nix, easily our HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Oil turning up the heat player of the game. So congratulations to him, and congratulations for the Tigers as Rossiter takes a knee and is going to let the remaining 30 seconds of this one wind down. I think he'll have to take a knee one more time. So these Newport starters on the sideline right now preparing to celebrate. Inside 20 seconds to go as the officials convene here, and it looks like that's going to do it. So the Newport Tigers, the top-ranked and unbeaten Tigers, headed back to UNH for a second straight appearance in the Division III Championship. So congratulations to the Tigers as they win this one 47-7 over Bow and advance to the championship game for a second straight year. Stay tuned after the break for post-game reaction from our YCN Game of the Week. I'm Mike Pizzone, joined by Newport quarterback Dylan McNamara after his team's 47-7 victory over Bow here in the Division III semifinals. And you're going back to the championship for a second straight year. What does that feel like to you know, meet your goal to get back to the big stage and have a chance at bringing Newport a championship?
It really does feel amazing. I mean, that was our goal coming into the season, and it was my goal to get these seniors one state championship before they left. You know, it's a very special feeling to know that we had a good football team again this year and that we're back to where we wanted to be.
And you're a team that prides yourself in your ability to run the ball. I mean, all season long, the touchdowns between Wade and Lawrence, but today, I mean, you showed some beautiful accuracy, your arm strength, beautiful touchdown passes to Nix there. One that could have been a touchdown pass, but, you know, the officials called it out of bounds, so potential 3 touchdown passes. I mean, was that something you guys were looking to do today, air the ball out a little bit as well?
We wanted to stick to our game plan, but their defense allowed us to open up, you know, our offense more and throw the ball more, and they gave us the looks that we thought they would, and we succeeded at it. You know, credit to all the coaches and all the offensive linemen in the backs and stuff for giving me the time and protection and being able to throw the ball because of how we run.
Gonna catch it into the end zone. Now, and Jeremy, the Tigers set up once again with great field position as this pitch goes to Nix. Nix around the outside, over the 25, over the 10, and he's into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the game. 2 beautiful, beautiful touchdown receptions today, and then a 3rd touchdown from the ground. I mean, what can you say about that effort for you and your team and everybody today to get yourself a chance to compete for another state championship?
Our offensive line is key, you know, and our quarterback just threw some great passes. We wouldn't have been able to do it without either of them.
And we were actually just talking to Dylan, and, you know, like I said to him, you guys are a team that prides yourself in your ability to run the ball. You know, Wade, Lawrence, obviously a ton of touchdowns between the 2 of them this year. But were you guys making a point of it to try to air the things out a little bit today and show that passing game as well?
Every game we plan on passing, but most of the time Wade just runs it in every other play. So, you know, we don't have to pass. So, you know, when we do, we pass pretty well.
And I guess, you know, does it matter who you guys face next week? Do you guys want to? Does it matter at all?
We're gonna win.
All right. Well, congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you.
That does it for our YCN Game of the Week here at Marion Field in Newport, where it was the top-ranked Newport Tigers earning a 2nd straight trip to the championship game with a 47-7 victory over Bow.